So last night, I ran a program, or yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, I ran a program on the QL. Spent 2 hours chatting with a whole number of yoga teachers, health professionals, and people with QL pain about what I have found to be super, super helpful in reducing QL issues. And a big piece of it that I was sharing with people are 4 key things. You need to know how to rest and relieve symptoms. Then you need to know how to retrain and then refine. And those are really, really important concepts because a lot of people are learning around their QL is to just do a lot of core stability, use the ball to release the muscle spasm, and then hope to heck that it's going to work. And then over and over and over again, it doesn't. The symptoms keep coming back to the point where people start to just kind of come into this place of like, well, I guess I'm resigned to it. This is just the way it is. I'm X age or I'm X this or whatever. And it's just the way things are. And I really wanted just to share this video as a summary of that particular course that I ran. And if you want the link to that course, you can still access it and the Q&A that went with it. It was a really, really fun time where I shared a bunch of slides, shared the anatomy, biomechanics, plus spent a good deal of time looking and watching movement patterns, and things you can do to actually retrain and refine your movement, right? Because the QL, first of all, the QL sits right between here, the lower rib and the pelvis, and it connects to the vertebrae here, right? And part of its job is to side bend, so it can bring the ribs down to the pelvis, as well as bringing the pelvis up to the ribs. And so it can hike that hip or can bring that rib down. And when it contracts bilaterally on both sides, it creates extension of the spine. But a lot of the issues tend to be more one-sided than the other, right? And so a big piece is, why is it wanting to do that? And the QL, I like to say, the QL is one of these muscles that is just one of the superiors of compensation. And so when what can start to happen when we have these things occur, what can start to happen is that the QL can take it on, right? So if you've got a sticky shoulder blade or you've got neck issues, that can impact how that QL will function, and the QL will kick in and say, okay, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. So when you're thinking and exploring, you're probably seeing a physiotherapist or an osteopath or a chiropractor to get that initial symptom management handled, right? Like just to give you some relief in your back. Then afterward, what I want you to think about is to think about what's going on between your leg bone and your pelvis. What's going on with your shoulder blade on your rib cage? How does your arm bone move? Because if those things are at all tricky, if they're sticky and they're stuck, if they're not moving well, then the likelihood of your QL symptoms coming back is really, really high. Okay, so you're going to have to retrain the movement patterns that are in your hips and in your shoulders to start with. Now, once you've got that sorted out, and that won't take you long if you do it well and you do it accurately, and once you got that sorted out, you're going to find a desire to do more, and you're going to need to refine your movement that much more. Okay? So that's really, really the key here is allow yourself to get the rest and then relieve the symptoms initially. And like I said, you can do that really well with lots of physios, osteopaths, massage therapists, chiropractors, and a lot of other body workers. But then you actually need to shift your movement patterns. Now, one of the tricky things here is that you might say, well, there's nothing wrong with my movement patterns. I'm told my movement patterns are fine. But here's the thing. There's so much that's happening under our level of awareness. And so much of what compensation is acting upon things that are happening under our level of awareness. So you really need to find someone with a good set of eyes, someone who can really see movement, who doesn't just chalk up compensation to something that everybody does and it's just normal. If someone says that, just walk away, right? They're right, everybody does compensate. But what I have seen over and over and over again, and it really is one of the key things for why I'm so darn successful with my clients, is that people who have pain compensate. And when we can reduce those compensations, their pain goes down. I see it consistently. So if you can find someone who's got a great set of eyes that can really see your movement and help you reduce that compensation, then a whole lot will start to change. Now, in the comment section below, I have posted the link to the QL program that I ran yesterday. You can get the recording of it, and so you can dig into all the anatomy and mechanics that I talked about, as well as movements that you can work with to help retrain that movement, and then moving into refining that movement. So grab that link below if you're interested, and if you want my help, if you want to work with me privately one-to-one, if you want professional training and what it is that I offer. I've put the links down in the comment box as well, so you can explore a little bit more of that. All right? Take good care, have fun, and see you next time.